it, children. Let me give you the subject of the day.
So we will start with the best.
This is the save. This is the save I made for 26 years ago.
Ooh.
Still remember that, I'm a little bit angry at the player for the Brazilian team. He's a very small guy, but he headed in a goal against me in the semifinals.
Yes. Do you have an idea how much famous you are here in Brazil?
Am I?
Yes.
Does people still remember me, you mean, or what?
Yes, because that World Cup was very important for us. We were 24 years without winning a World Cup. We lost a big idol of sport, Ayrton Senna, about 1 month before start the World Cup.
I remember that. It was an unbelievably good racing Formula One. He died, and the same day we played the semifinals against your team, Brazil. Then you mean?
No. He died May 1st, 1994.
It's a couple of months before then.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in that two games, when we speak about that games, we don't speak about Henrik Larsson, we don't speak about Kenneth Anderson, Jonas Turner, or Martin Darling. It's always that crazy goalkeeper that made the saves and do some faces and some dances after.
Yeah. When I made that funny step like John Cleese, when I saved the shot and then I ran in front of the camera and made this steps. But that wasn't prepared. I didn't think to do that before the game. It only. I was so happy that he missed the I made a save, and then I don't know what player had the opportunity to score, but he missed the rebound, and I was so happy that he missed. So I got crazy that. I remember that the game, we Brazil was under huge pressure after 75 minutes. We got Jonas Turn. He got a red card, and if we didn't have that red card, maybe we could have made it to the penalty shootout. But we had no chance at all against Brazil that game. I have to. We had that important game against Romania, and we played 120 minutes and a penalty shootout, and we had only 2 days to prepare, and Brazil had 3 days to prepare. So the whole team, I think, both mentally and physically, were tired. We didn't have the stamina to make a game against Brazil. They were much better than we were.
And was a very hot weather, right?
It's hot. Yeah, but it was much harder when we played against Saudi Arabia in Dallas. Then we played at 12:30 in middle of the day, and it was 40-50 degrees in the sun, and we played that game. It was much harder that game in Dallas than in Los Angeles.
That World Cup was your best. It was the best time in your career, right?
Yeah, I was. We played the World Cup '90 also, and we played against Brazil that time also in Italy, and we played the first game, and we lost 2-1 there. During the whole '80s, we didn't make it to any World Cup at all. We had a huge problem with the. We had some unluck in the qualifications games and so on. So the first World Cup was '90. The biggest game I remember I played against Brazil was here in Gothenburg, 1983, and we played a draw 3-3 against Brazil. You have to look at the internet at that game. It was an unbelievable game. You have to look at it. There is on the YouTube. You can see the game. It were unbelievably goals, nice and very good goals from Brazil and from Sweden.
You play in EFK Gothenburg for a lot of years. You won a lot of championships there. Yeah.
I played in a smaller team before. I have a twin brother also. He's a defender. So we played together in a team called Östers IF in Växjö. It's a smaller, a minor town in Sweden. And I played there for 20 years first. And then I went to Gothenburg when I was 29 years old and played there for until I was 37 and won 6 Swedish championships with Gothenburg, and I won 2 championships with Östers IF.
And why it took so long to reach a big club in Sweden? Why you never played in the big league in Europe?
You know, it was hard before, you know, before the bossman decide that you can go when your contract is ending. Before you couldn't do that because the team owned you even if you don't had any contract. So you couldn't change the club if you wanted. Only if the club president said you can go to another team, that was possible. It was much harder before. And even if you want to be a professional football player in outside abroad in Europe somewhere, it was hard also because before Bosman you only could have 2 foreign players in the leagues. That was my problem because it was much harder to a goalkeeper to be a professional player in a big team in Europe because you could only have 2 players. And I think, you know, when I played for Gothenburg, we played the Champions League 5 or 6 times. 94, we played the quarterfinal against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. And, you know, if I had to go to a club outside Sweden, it would have been a big club. Otherwise, I didn't want to go because I played in a good team in Sweden, and that was okay for me. The only thing maybe is that you earn more money in Europe than you do in Sweden. So it would only have been because of the money. But the football was quite good here also. I never got any opportunity to play in the bigger clubs. So I got some offers from a little bit smaller club, but as I said before, I enjoyed to play here in Gothenburg.
Bayern Munich want to sign you, but give up after you took 5 goals in the match. Is this true?
Yeah. 1981, we played European Cup was the name of the Champions League during that time, and we played the first game against Bayern Munich away in Munich, and we lost with 5-0. Even if it wasn't my fault, but we were much not as good as the Bayern Munich team. So we lost 5-0, and they didn't have any interest for me anymore. So if I had made a good game there, maybe they had bought me. But we lost with 5-0, and then we lost with 1-0 at home. I think Rummenigge scored a penalty, and they lost. They won with 1-0. But it's true. Maybe they didn't get any interest for me after that game. If I let in 5 goals, maybe they don't think I'm so good, you know.
Yeah, I know. And how was your experience in USA after all these years playing at home, be overseas?
I think it was a great experience because my family, I have 3 kids, and the kids were 5, 7, and 10 during that time, and they went to school and learned English after 2 months, and socially it was a very nice time. The kids are speaking about that year in the States still, you know. They want to go back because it was that kind of social. It was good weather. We lived in a good, nice house with a swimming pool and so on. But the football wasn't so good, but it was a nice experience. If I had stayed one more year, maybe I'd been staying in the States because it was so that nice time, you know.
Romario says something about you, and I want to read for you.
Does he remember? Does he remember me?
Of course, was a TV show about the World Cup of '94. Some players were chosen to talk about the matches, and Romario was chosen to talk about the semifinal. So he said this: Sweden doesn't have a lot of weight, especially when it comes to World Cup. Even with that trash talker goalkeeper that I forgot the name, saying that he didn't know me and didn't know all the team. I know that he know me and all the team very well.
It's much better to say that you don't know the players, because even if you do, you get a psychological, you overtake if you say you don't know him at all. And even if you do, he thinks, he gets angry, but because you say that. And you don't get afraid for a player. I think that player I was most afraid of is Marco van Basten. He played in Milan, and he scored 4 goals against me when we played the Champions League. The first time, 92 in Milan, and he scored 4 goals. And after I knew him, but after the game, I asked him, "Can I change the jersey with you?" And he answered me, "No. The referee has already said he wants it," he said to me. But Marco van Basten was an unbelievably good player, and Romario also. But I knew him. I knew how good he was. But it's better to say that you don't know him at all. And then he got angry because I say it like that. I think I can't speak Portuguese at all, so I don't understand. I don't know if he understood what I really said to him. Maybe I said something in English, but I don't remember that at all. But during that game, the semifinals, I had a lot of self-confidence, and my feeling was that the Brazilian team couldn't score against me. I had a lot of self-confidence, and as I said before, if we didn't make that kind of mistake in the defense when Romario scored the header, the 1-0 goal, I think we could make it to the penalty shootout and win it there instead. But sorry to say, Jonas Törn got that crazy red card in the 75th minute, and then the game was over, I think, for us. He scored 2 goals against me, one in the group play and then one in the semifinals. So he was, even if he was very small, he was unbelievably good.
Did you have chance to talk with some Brazilian player after the World Cup of '94?
No, I haven't spoken with anyone at all. I had Risto Stoichkov was at my home for 1.5 years ago. He made he worked for the Mexican TV, I think, and he was at home with me and talked about the World Cup in Russia. But the Brazilian team, I haven't spoken with anyone at all. It would have been fun to speak with Romario about the World Cup. I think he's a nice guy, and it would be fun to hear about his thoughts about the game also.
Yeah. Do you still get involved with football these days?
No, I was in the board of IFK Gothenburg in the beginning of the century now, 2001 to 2004, and then nowadays I'm only holding motivational speeches and so on. I'm in TV shows and TV programs and so on. Then I have a own own brand also named Ravelli.
Oh,
You see, have underwear,
oh,
belly on. I work with that and other stuff, you know, that you sell that to here in Sweden. So you can go in to buy it also if you want. There are some people with my last name also in Brazil. It's a couple of people. I think they emigrated from northern part of Italy in the end of the 1880, 1890. A lot of Italian immigrants came to Brazil also. So I see that there are a few people with my last name in Brazil also. My grandmother was born in Bolzano and my grandfather in Mezzana, and they went to Austria after the First World War, 1918, and my father was born in Austria. You know, because before the First World War, Austria-Hungary was the biggest state in the whole Europe, and then they lost the war, and Italy got the northern part of it, felt more like Austrian than Italian. So my father was born in Austria, and then he studied to be a doctor, and he went to Sweden in 1952 together with my mother. She's also an Austrian, and then they stayed here in Sweden. So I and my 5 siblings are born here in Sweden. Yeah.
and you speak some Italian or German?
No, only Austrian, Germany.
What do you think about the goalkeepers, the Swedish goalkeepers today?
Today we have a very, very good goalkeeper. He plays now for Everton. He went from the Italian club to Everton, and he's a very, very good goalkeeper. Then we have a change of, you know, the older players are getting older, and we have a lot of young players that are getting good. So until the next year, I think we have a very, very good team again.
The country has the potential to go far, like you guys do, like you guys did in '94.
Yeah, they nearly made it now in Russia. So it wasn't. They lost against England with 2-0 in the. So they had the possibility, but I think the team is better now than it was in Russia. So until the next year, I think they could make a good performance in the European Championships. So I have great and big hopes that they make a good performance.
Yes, and do you think that Ibrahimovic could be useful these days?
No, he's not going to play in the national team anymore. I don't think so. But he's still an unbelievably good football player. He's 39 years old, and he's better than a lot of people that are younger than him. So, but he has said no to the national team since a couple of years, so I don't think he want to play them anymore.
Who was better, he or Henrik Larsson?
Zlatan is the best football player that Sweden ever had, you know. So, but Henrik Larsson was also good, but Zlatan is a little bit better.
Do you think that the Sweden national team could have done more when it had 3 top players in Europe, Larsson, Ljungberg, and Zlatan?
It's hard to compare, you know, the different teams, but you had to have a little bit luck also to make it through the different tournaments. You have to meet a little bit not as good teams, and you have to, all the players have to be in the top of the performance, and you have to have 12, 13 players that are better than they ever been before. So you have to have a little bit luck also. Otherwise, you can't make it so far. But those 3 players were top players in the whole world. So it's hard to say. 2004 they lost against Holland, I think, in a penalty shootout, and you know, it's small margins if you want to make it to the next round. So
what was the time that you thought, okay, I'm gonna be a goalkeeper?
You know, I have 2 brothers. They also played. My brother Andreas played in the national team for 41 times, and I had my older brother Stefan also. We played in the same team in Växjö Öster, but I wasn't as good as an outfield player. And one day our goalkeeper didn't show up, and they told me to be in goal instead. And I found my place there. I was, I think, 12 years old when I started to play as a goalkeeper instead of as an outfield player. So that was my position, and I had some luck, and I found it. And before it was like that, you know, we always played football after the school, and during the weekends we always played football, and often during that time I was a goalkeeper also when we played for fun only. So before we played much more football, not in organized form as you do now. We played football as you do in Brazil on the beach or and everywhere. But nowadays in Sweden, that's not like that anymore. Everyone is playing in teams and organized form. So, but as I got a goalkeeper, as you know, I wasn't as good at outfields as a goalkeeper, so I found my place.
Okay. Have you ever been in Brazil?
No, sadly, I've never been there. It would be one thing in my bucket list to go to Rio de Janeiro and see the Jesus statue and so on, and take a swim at the Ipanema beach also, maybe.
Well, Thomas, I really thank you to speak with us, and it was very nice.
Take care of yourself and your friends and the family.